Okay, this video, I'm gonna teach you how to actually stop using your phone. Okay, using proven scientific methods type shit. Okay, but first let's talk about why you're addicted to your phone. And I think the main reason is basically brainwashing and biohacking. The reason shit like scrolling and you always feel the urge to check your phone and notification shit. The reason those are so appealing and you do them without conscience is because these like billionaire fucking companies are literally biohacking you. They're like, because they know how biology works and they're designing their programs to take advantage of your biology, right? Your like need for belonging, your need for attention, your need for entertainment. They're taking advantage of all these things, and these like billion-dollar corporations are doing their best to keep you on the, because their job, right? Like these corporations hire computer scientists and shit. Their job, they get paid to keep you on the app as long as possible and on the phone for as long as possible. So obviously they're going to implement like all these features like, face fingerprint or something makes it easier to access your phone. They're going to add like notifications and something. So it's like when you hear the notification, you like get reminded you want to check your phone, yada, yada, yada. So I think the main reason why most people are addicted to their phone is because of the I don't want to call it brainwashing, but like biohacking of these big corporation shit. That way, let's get to how to actually stop using your phone. The first tip I have is to use minimalistic and phone reducing apps. Okay, the idea is just to make your phone less visually stimulating, so you use it less. An example of a minimalist app is literally one I used to have called the Minimalist Phone. What it does is makes your phone entirely black, and then you can add blockers on top of it as well. And then all your apps, there's no icons, there's just the name of the app. And this should make sense because if your phone is uglier and it's less appealing, there's no vibrant colors, it's all just black and white, you're going to want to use it less. It's like going to be less appealing to you, right? Also, usually with these apps, like minimalist phone, you can also set in like blockers and like time blockers, so you can set like limits for yourself for how long you can use an app a day. So yeah, this is one way. It was definitely going to cut down on your phone usage. I do have a quick disclaimer though. I feel like I have a quick disclaimer about deleting apps. Okay, I don't think you should delete apps for one reason, and that's because your goal is to beat the addiction, not to just like put a band-aid over it. Okay, so deleting your apps is like a band-aid fix. It's not a real fix. The reason is because you could delete all your apps and like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gonna like work. You're gonna use your phone less, you're gonna check those apps less, right? But the issue is, if you ever get those apps back, you're still the same like brainwashed, like biohacked mind monkey, bro. And you're gonna like go back on those apps and like keep like fucking scrolling or whatever you do on them, because you didn't actually like improve yourself. You didn't actually beat your addiction. You just took away the substance. It's like if I'm a smoker or some shit, it's like, if you bar my access from cigarettes everywhere for like a week or something, it's like, okay, I don't know how cigarette addiction works, but whatever. I'll continue with the analogy. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to smoke for that week, but I'm going to be in like huge pain or something. And the moment you reintroduce a cigarette, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? So, that's why I don't necessarily approve of deleting your apps unless it's like absolutely necessary. Like if you're absolutely fucking fried, you need to make any progress, like you've been trying for 2 years, made no progress, like yeah, don't waste time. But like even if you do delete all your apps, I suggest gradually reintroducing them so you can like actually beat the addiction and not just be a band-aid fix. But that's just a quick disclaimer. Back to what I was actually fucking saying, because I was just right in the middle of my point. If you don't want to install minimalist phone, it's fine, whatever. I think another thing you can do is just to make your phone uglier. So one thing a lot of phones you can do, you can go to your phone, your settings, and you can tap like grayscale. So grayscale just makes everything black and white. That will also make your phone uglier. You can like put everything in like a huge like folder or something. So your folder, you can put apps together or something. You can put everything in one big app or something, so it's not like so easily accessible. You actually have to go find it. All of these things are just going to help you. Ooh, I hit my thing. All these things are just going to help you reduce your phone usage and make you want to use your phone less. Sorry guys, I'm so thirsty right now. The next tip I can give you is to give yourself time to reflect and to ask yourself if you really need to use your phone before you use it. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. I'll tell you every single thing I've done, okay? So I have made my phone password super long. I've disabled fingerprint and face ID. By the way, fingerprint and face ID is like one of those like biohack things, because if it's easier to access your phone, you're gonna use it more often. If it's like you don't even have to like type anything, you just like face ID, you just look at it and then it unlocks, right? So it's super easy. So I disable all of these and I give myself a super long password and a super like more complicated password that I have to manually enter every single time I use my phone. And then just like the 10 seconds it takes for me to manually enter my password just gives me a little bit of time to reflect on myself and be like, do I really need to use my phone? And then sometimes I'm like, no, I don't really need to use my phone. And I put my phone down like mid like password, you know what I'm saying? So you can make your password super long. This can also be applied more specifically to your apps. So this whole idea is to increase the friction between you and like whatever bad habit. Ooh, I just kicked the camera again. Whatever bad habit you're doing. So you can also, for example, you're always scrolling on Instagram Reels. You can sign out of Instagram and then make sure your phone doesn't remember the password. So you know how you sign in, your phone will say like, remember me or something. Just click no every single time. And then after you're done using it, remember to sign out. And this is going to make it so that every single time you feel the urge to check Instagram messages or to scroll on Reels or something, you have to not only type in your super long phone password, but then sign in and type in your super long Instagram password. And it just gives you a bunch of time to reflect and think, do I really need to be using my phone? Along the same vein of this, you can like disable so for example, if you're addicted to scrolling on YouTube, at least I know you can disable shorts. I imagine there's probably a setting for you to disable Reels, or at least if there's not a setting, there's probably like an app you can use to let you disable Reels or something. So you can disable like the bigger problems. Again, there's that problem of like, you want to be able to beat the addiction but not a band-aid fix. But this is just like, I'm just throwing everything out here right now. So the next thing you can do to increase your friction is install apps. So I know a lot of people, like a lot of people. So you can probably find these online. I don't have a specific one because I haven't used it. I've just stayed sign out. But a lot of people download these apps where it's like when you need to use like Instagram or TikTok, it literally makes you wait 10 seconds. Like you're forced to wait 10 seconds, and there's like a motivational quote, or there's like a question and just asking you if you really need to use Instagram or TikTok or anything. So that is like the more extreme and like official version of just signing out to like increase your friction. I don't have one link, so you can just like search it up. Just be like, best like app blockers or something, or app timers or whatever. The last way you need to increase friction between you and your phone usage, my voice, oh my fucking god. Sorry guys. Is to delay the time you use your phone. So create separation between your urges and your actual notion of checking the phone. Because for our whole lives, we've made a huge habit of like the moment we get the urge to check a notification, we check it. The moment we get the urge to scroll, we scroll. I want you to start like increasing your separation. So the moment you're thinking about picking your phone, right? You're about to pick up your phone and open it, check Instagram or something. Tell yourself, no, I'll check it in 5 minutes. I'm allowed to scroll in 5 minutes. I can use my phone in 5 minutes. And this separation is just, not only does it build a certain amount of discipline and willpower, because you're about to like give in to your addiction, but then you like staved it off for like 5 more minutes. But the more important part is you disconnected the urge from the action. So now when you get the urge, it's like the action doesn't immediately follow. So you're basically less addicted. I don't have the best explanation of this because I got it from Deep Work, and Deep Work explained it in a very I think a very sciencey way, and I don't remember the science, but this is basically just how it goes. So when you get the urge to use your phone, when you get the urge to scroll, to do any of these other things, make sure you separate the action from the urge. So you say, I'm going to do this in a minute, in 2 minutes, in 5 minutes, but I just can't do it right now. That's very beneficial for you. I can tell you it's worked for. The next tip is out of sight and out of mind. So if you keep your phone always around you and always open and as easily accessible as possible, you're obviously going to use it more, right? but let's say if I'm working right now and I keep my phone outside of my room, it's a lot less accessible. A lot less likely to grab it and like be addicted or something because it's out of sight. Therefore, it is out of mind, and I'm gonna get less urges. Now, like again, there's this idea that yeah, you want to build your discipline and shit, and you don't want band-aid fixes, but it's like this one's not that much of a band-aid fix. Okay, this one's more of like I find this one to be more effective at like stopping your phone and still giving yourself like the discipline shit because it's still around you and you still get urges. So yeah, I would say your phone out of sight, out of mind. Put it somewhere else, or maybe you have like a box. You put your phone in a box and you leave it like in like an obscure room in your house the whole day. And if you need it, you have to like go to the box or something. You can make it more extreme. You can lock the box with like a key or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So doing all of these things will just help you reduce your it's so hot, bro. Will just help you reduce your urges because it's also this idea of like increasing the friction between you and your phone. Maybe another way you could do this, you hand your phone to like your parents or something. If you still live with your parents, just be like, yeah, take my phone. I need to ask you if I need to use it. So again, to increase the friction. Okay, the last tip is to find alternatives for your phone. So a lot of us scroll for a few reasons, but like a lot of the reasons we might go on our phone, scroll, play video games, whatever, it might be like an escape from something, right? So I always used to scroll on my phone after I would like lose a game in badminton because I would be sad that I lost in badminton, and like scrolling on my phone would just be like my vice. Okay, so in this way, you can see how like my phone was a like vice from this thing. Now, okay, obviously I can't just like snap my fingers and say I'm gonna win every badminton game, but what I could have done is fix my mentality, which I had to fix anyways, and been like, if I lose, it's like it's not that big of a deal. It's like it's fucking whatever. It's a freaking sport, bro. And so maybe then I wouldn't have been so distraught after I lost, and then I wouldn't have to scroll on my phone as much. Maybe this is a terrible example. I don't know. Maybe you scroll on your phone because like if your like parents are arguing or something that stresses you out, maybe then you use your phone. So like not much you can do if your parents are arguing, but like when they start to argue, instead of going on your phone, you can go on a walk or read or anything like that. Listen to music. And this is really important because it eliminates this trigger. Okay, so this thing that's like triggering your phone usage and your phone addiction, it eliminates like this trigger because you've now attached this trigger to something else, something more beneficial, like going on walks and reading. So this only applies, obviously this only applies if your phone is actually like an escape for something for you. If you're just like if you're just like plain addicted, you don't really have a reason, still replace it with something, because if you apply everything I've said previously, you're gonna use your phone less. And if you're gonna use your phone less, you're gonna have more time to work on other things. But if you don't have other things to work on, you're just gonna be sitting here 24/7 thinking about your phone, right? Like a cigarette addict, again, I'm using the thing, but a cigarette addict, if you take away cigarettes and they just sit in the room, they're gonna think about smoking. But if you take away a cigarette and you sign them up for like a dance class, they're not gonna be thinking about cigarettes during the dance class because their mind is focused on something else. So you got to find alternatives, and you also got to replace your triggers. So you got to tie new and better habits other than using your phone to the triggers that cause your phone usage. That's basically everything I have to say for this video. I need to drive my sister to her school because, lazy ass does not have a car or a license yet. I'm joking. I don't think she can get one. But anyways, yeah, that's basically everything. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you got something out of value. Speedrun this because I got to take a shit before I drive her. So bye. Ciao.